I just fired it up.
So sorry about that.
It's okay. I just fired it up 2 seconds ago.
Early. How you doing, man?
Good. What's going on, everybody? So I would like to reiterate the. I don't know if Bobby ever had a chance to watch it, but I want to reiterate what I said between the 4 minutes mark and the 6.5 minute mark of what I said in the early video. Now that Bobby's here, and we'll be embarrassed by it. So somebody came into the chat and asked, how things going in the NBA, and I answered him. And I wish I could check my YouTube thing to see where the chat was, but I still don't know how to do the chat replay. But we'll look at that another time.
Weird, yeah.
So here's my comments about how the NBA is going so far. So about 3 weeks ago, the entire DFS community was inundated with contest simulation software, starting with SaberSim, followed by Stochastic, and now RotoGrinders put out theirs in the last couple of days, and that's like all the rage. Okay, that to be competitive, you have to be extremely well versed in contest sims. You have to be able to do that, and you have to, if you don't keep up with the times, you're dead. Okay. Now I did have a conversation with Andy from SaberSim about it, and it's kind of funny because my comment was that 2 years from now, you're going to look back at the way this software looks now, and you're going to say, "Oh my God, I can't believe we even went with it." It was like that's the way technology works. Okay, but let me tell you how the NBA season is going. With the advent of the contest sims that's dominating the industry, the only person I know who's completely killing it from the word go is Bobby. If I gave him $5,000, he wouldn't be able to run a contest sim if his life depended on it right now. Okay, and the point of the matter is that not at the end of the day, but in the middle of the day or whatever, the ability to know basketball and have instincts and be able to play in that way is extremely valuable. And Bobby is perfect example of it. Okay, now I'm not saying that there's not a lot of ways to skin a cat. I'm not saying, that you shouldn't make use of the technologies. But the point is this, I'll throw this out there. A couple of things. Number one, there are several ways to win. Number two is that if you're here, you're getting multiple different approaches to how to attack these slates. Number three, and I'll just throw this out there, if everybody is now going to be relying on simulations to run their lineups, by definition, if you're not doing that, you're getting different. Okay. And if you can, make good lineups, that's fading that whole construct, you're doing really well. So I strongly advise everybody to make use of the various approaches that we're talking about here on TrueDFS. I will still run my contest sim stuff just to teach people how to do that, because to me that's very interesting. I honestly don't even know if it's even accurate. People ask me that. They're like, what do you think of these contests? I'm like, all I know is they're 2 days old. I don't know. I don't know how to go into it. I do know that 2 years from now, whatever there is now is going to be looked at as stupid. I don't know how and why, but that's just the way technology works. You know what I mean? So my point was that there is an argument to be made that if 2 years from now we're going to look back at what's here now and think it's stupid, there's a certain degree of wisdom in ignoring it now. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but that's my speech about how the NBA season is going. So for those of you that are here for the first time, or those who are just kind of getting on board, I listen to this dude with the freaking hat on. Okay, he's not the most like sim guy. He's not like as much technology based. But I will say this is that he taught me how to play DFS from scratch when I first started. Okay, and the guy knows what he's freaking doing. Okay, so especially with the NBA. Okay, so whatever he puts up there, whatever he goes over and whatever, and listen, sometimes he goes on downswings like everybody else, and he's not too proud to say that he had a fucking shitty baseball season. Okay, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. But if this first couple of days is any indication, he's here for the freaking vengeance. And that. Listen, I built up my equity in taking time to say shit like this because I never do, right? Because I never tout, I never brag, I never do whatever about the site. So every once in a while, I feel I have the right to when I feel like it, to do something like this. So I just wanted to say that that you guys are on, especially with the NBA. You're on something good when you're following the other guy in this freaking video. So that's all I have to say.
I appreciate that. That's very, very kind. I don't know how to live up to this.
Well, you're going to tell me if Donovan Mitchell's playing. How about that?
Well, it looks like LeVert is not playing. So
there it is. Let's go. That's it. That's it. So do you know? How about this? Do you know if Norman Powell is playing?
I'm looking for confirmation, though. I definitely don't know if Norman Powell's playing, and I don't think we will know until later. Is my current guess.
But we're assuming LeVert out right now.
We're as of right now. I read
LeVert is out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Donovan Mitchell will be 100% owned.
He will be 100% owned.
It's probably a good idea to play him. Just to be honest,
probably a good idea to play him. Yeah.
I don't think this is anything overly insightful.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think he's a better player than Durant? I mean, you probably play them both. Okay, but
because I expect the game to there's a chance that the Phoenix game is less competitive, but I think you can play them both, and I think that like if you're playing. If I was playing a cash game lineup, which basically means that I'm probably going to do it a lot of my tournament lineups, I would probably play he and Durant. I think there's a lot of merit to fading Durant just on its face as at high ownership tonight. And I by the way, I was just saying this the other day. I was like, without these guys, you kind of have to just play him. And it still stands to be somewhat true. But what's really true is that I think you more just have to you can play like Nurkic, Okogie, and Goodwin instead of him. You know what I mean? But you kind of need some combination because Phoenix is going to score a lot of points tonight, and it kind of obviously will be through Kevin Durant, unless Eric Gordon has a weird 30 real-life point night or Grayson Allen gets hot and does the same thing. It's going to be Nurkic, it's going to be Okogie for the minutes, and it's going to be Goodwin with upside that could potentially keep Durant from going completely nuts. But I also like the idea of playing Eubanks. You can't really get different. It's a very tough slate to get different. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent.
Hold on. So K9, since you have all the information that's coming in, do you know who's starting for Cleveland?
I'm double checking the starting NBA lineups right now.
That's obviously is pretty important.
I don't think it's going to be anything different because LeVert was going to come off the bench anyway.
Oh, even with Garland? Oh, okay.
He's been coming off the bench, so it shouldn't be.
Well, I guess the import of my question is like who gets the bump with LeVert out? Besides Mitchell, obviously.
What's that?
Wade? I mean, who gets whatever?
I think Dean Wade is already going to play the minutes, and the shots have to go somewhere. I think Struss is the obvious one.
Struss, you think?
Yeah, and I think he's going to be 1,000,000% owned. Also, he plays if this game is competitive, these guys and they're at home. You know what I mean? Like these guys will play the minutes. They were a favorite before that news came, and to be honest, I'm not sure they're still not a total.
I happen to pick them right now.
You can the trick is the first thing that goes through your mind if you're a DFS player when you have a situation with as many people out, as many of their scores, because they don't have that many scores and they're also missing their center. So when that happens, what can I get from the other side? The problem is, so now you have the game with the lowest total on the slate as the most popular game to stack because everyone's going to do the same thing. And my guess is the Sims will tell you to do the same thing. I don't look at the Sims. I do look at a lot of people, and I follow a lot of people who do post results of what certain Sims gave out. You know what I mean? So I get some of the results. It's not like I've never heard of, what I mean, the thing. But so Mitchell is I genuinely don't know a great argument for fading him, and then other than just hoping. And if you're fading him, you're probably playing Struss, Mobley. And they're going to be popular too. Mobley might get the overreaction popularity here. I still think he's a good play, but I just think it depends. If you think he's going to be 50% owned, sort of like what happened with Cam Thomas. Sheets, by the end of the night, I was saying Cam Thomas versus Dinwiddie. I preferred Cam Thomas, but when you tell me Dinwiddie is going to be 1/4 the ownership, and I didn't know it would be that. I thought it'd be 1/3 or maybe half. But everybody was just talking up that Dinwiddie was the obvious play all day and that no one's playing Thomas, and it just made Thomas in the high buy-ins the most owned. So what's going to happen is Mitchell will be owned in basically every lineup. And if you can get different, my suggestion is to play Dean Wade, play somebody, play Niang. I don't think you can fade Cleveland entirely. The problem is the only real shot creator they have is Mitchell, and that includes their bench. So they can run Mobley in some stuff. They can run Struss off screens all day long, but like these are not entirely like on their own shot creators. So it's kind of a weird situation. I think as long as that game, if the spread stays within 2 points, anybody should be immediately betting New York like as fast as they possibly can.
The other injury news, and we're not, like I said, we're not going to get for a while, as I just kind of brought up, was the Norm Powell, because if he is out, and even if he's not out, I think that maybe Bones Highland would be someone to go to over there.
So I think he's a great play either way, so I'm okay with just playing him, you know?
Okay.
I think if you're not like, I actually think though that like guys like Westbrook, Paul George, I'm going to this game tonight, so maybe.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I'm down in LA. So that's why I had to be out this morning.
Nice.
And I had to stop and pick up some things for.
Is the Beard going to be there?
Who?
Harden.
Oh, I don't think he'll be here that fast. No.
Just even to watch and to sweat or whatever.
Oh, maybe to be here. I bet you he's here. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet too. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the strip clubs are open late, right? I'm like,
they're open late out here, man. Yeah, it's no problem.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's
quite an interesting squad they have there now.
It is, and here's the interesting thing that some people are bringing up in chat. I'm just going to touch on something about the Okoro experience. Why don't we give this guy maybe now? The truth is, he's actually just been shooting the ball better, but maybe we give him credit on taking that boost. You know what I mean? This is a 22-year-old kid, maybe 23 now, that has been responsible as only a 3-and-D guy. It doesn't mean that's the only way he can be used. So maybe I'm underrating Okoro a little bit. My problem with him is that when you tell me that the Isaac Okoro that we saw last year is going to be now like 30% owned or something like that, then I'm going to have an issue with just like saying, okay, well, I need to play him. You know what I mean? Is he really that much better of a play than Okogie if he's more popular? I think Dean Wade will be one of the most popular players. I mean, I think that's who you start with, right? You start with the Mitchell, Dean Wade. I would put Okogie and Bones Highland in a similar category of guys who I would want to play, but Bones Highland will be much lower owned. I would go Max Struss. Yeah, it's really hard to keep away from Cleveland.
Boy, you brought up an interesting sort of rhetorical question. I mean, like, who is going to be the person aside from Mitchell that runs offense?
I really can't. Like, not one of these guys has that skill set. Unless they go down to potentially Craig Porter. I mean, this is really deep reaching stuff. It's a 3-gamer, by the way. I wouldn't cross that guy out of a 150 max entry thing. But
who is that?
Craig Porter Jr.
Who is that? Is it rookie?
He's a point guard. I think this is his second or third year. He's not like supposed to be anything. They'll give him.
He's the guy that might get minutes that they'll say, "Hey, bring the ball up." And be like,
yeah, but also like maybe he can create. He actually does have a little bit of everything, and he is young. Maybe he's I think second year. I don't know, but he's got. I mean, I know that he's got like the ability to handle the ball and attack the basket. Like literally, I look at the whole other team, and I think it's Mitchell is the only one. Maybe you could say Max Struss, or then maybe you see the awakening from Mobley, and this is like his monster game, but. It's really hard not to have at least 2 players from Cleveland on your lineups. It was hard when the day started for me to stay away from it, and now I find it a little bit harder. The only thing is that, like, the only problem is, like, none of these guys are going to be – it's going to be the Donovan Mitchell show, right? Like, they're going to trap him, whatever. It's still going to end up being him and Struss in some combination of that. And I think that if you're playing if you're starting your builds, those are guys you want more than 50% of, obviously. If you're starting your builds, I think Kevin Durant is someone you'd want more than 50% of, except for that everyone else will. That's one I could see. But maybe not as much anymore, Sheets. Maybe Durant actually won't be as owned. Because will everyone just play them together? I think you can too easily, right?
That's the next thing I was going to do was to see how easy it would be to just play them both.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy.
How do you compare guys like Goodwin to the guys from Cleveland?
I think he's got to be downgraded a little bit, just because there's variance in the usage and opportunity. The Lakers, for example, he gets all the minutes because he play 3 guards. Utah, that was a weird game. I don't really know for sure. I mean, he's played fine. Like, he's played well. I just feel like you're betting on, like, I could see a guy coming off the bench just not having a good game. Like, that could happen, you know? Whereas these other guys, it kind of has to be one of them. Whether, I guess but he's a different price than Okoro and Struss, but like Struss, like, and him were closer for me earlier in the day, and not really actually, but I don't know. It's really hard to make that justification for playing him over like Struss, but I could make an argument for playing Okoro over him. I think that's actually the right thing to do.
Okoro over Struss?
It doesn't feel right though. Like, I'm just going through my head on this thing. I just don't. Wish I could figure it out, because it's been Mitchell or LeVert just goes nuts, right? That's been the only thing we know from this team.
Well, one of the good things that we can do with SaberSim is answer the rhetorical question of how easy is it to play those two together. So what I'm going to do, and knowing this will give us a good idea of really what the ownership I think is going to be. Okay, so let me just for kick's sake, just going to upload the projections, and I have pretty much updated now, and I'm just going to run like a 150 lineup build with just nothing. No funny business, no nothing, not even a contest, and just building 150 lineups and see just how many of those lineups are both right Durant and what's his face and Mitchell in them. And as that's running, I mean, I wouldn't be a DFS player if I didn't ask you. I mean, argue between the Cleveland guys and the Phoenix guys and whatever. You have a 3-game slate, and the Clipper Orlando game is going to be, relatively unowned.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth taking a shot with that?
Yeah, I think that's a good argument. It's tough with Orlando because, as I pointed out last night in one of the bets, like when we were talking about the Lakers in Orlando, I'm like, the games just stay low scoring. They play slow. They have a lot of bodies. Nobody's going to stand out as an obvious, I must play this guy tonight thing. Wendell Carter is going to stand out for people. Probably a good reason to fade him. Even if he has a game, I really don't care. Like, I'd rather give me anybody else that we talked about instead. I do think Franz Wagner, I'm going to keep saying his name, like, when he's low owned, especially on small slates. Like, he shot 5 of 17 last night and had 36 DraftKings points. You could see the argument that on a back-to-back for a young guy that he wouldn't play as many minutes. But you could also see the argument that, look, we just keep seeing it happen. We saw it with Chet last night, for example. Some of these guys are like, they just can put up these monster numbers. And I think he's one of these guys. I don't think he's going to be that popular. I don't think Westbrook's going to be popular now.
I'll tell you something interesting.
If you play Bones Highland, leave an extra 100 if you want to switch to Norman Powell. But to be honest, Bones Highland is totally fine too. They're both really good plays at that price. So you just leave that spot, and you could even play them together. But I'm just saying, like, specifically, I would have a 4,400 saved, because if Norman Powell doesn't play, Bones Highland is kind of a guy I'd rather have over the Cleveland 4K guys.
Okay, so we can analyze this. So I ran 150 lineups, and I sorted by projected score, which is like the rawest, like the most the most optimal way you can play, like not even upside or anything. And actually, Durant is being left out.
That's what I think was going to. I thought might happen.
Yeah, you're going to get 100% of Mitchell in that thing, and then a whole bunch of Strus and Okogie. And the cheapos. You don't really get in these builds, in the straight builds, to too much Durant, which means that you probably want to do it. which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do it by Saber score, even then, yeah, you don't really. And this is one of the things that you could do about using contest sims. Like, so if you know a lot of people are using them, right? You can take this. I'll run a full contest sim just as clear as day. See what I get, and if I'm seeing that like that I'm telling you that Durant is going to be left out a little bit, I'll lock him in. You know what I mean? Like, or I'll just like make sure to play just a ton of him.
Yeah, I'm gonna try with some of my builds right here to get this figured out, because I want to try to see what I think makes the most sense, and I'm still waiting for some projections to update here.
I just did a pretty decent update, actually.
Well, by the way, Dean Wade with the exact Saber Sim projection of 666 on Halloween, so must play Dean Wade 666.66 times.
Very nice.
Or he's going to cost you all your money. It's one or the other, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's no in between.
So
it's so easy to start off with Mitchell, Struss, Wade, Durant, one of the 4,300s from the Clippers or both, and then you're in great shape. You still have money left.
Yeah, the Durant is the one that's being left in the left out of this equation. That's not going to be the case in my lineups. Yeah, and I could play some of these, and what was also being left out of these, like San Antonio. Actually, this guy isn't, but some of these San Antonio guys who are good players. Like you talked about about Vassell, a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sohan, these guys, and Sohan's coming off an abysmal game, right?
I like that idea with the Sohan.
So you play Durant with a couple of the San Antonio guys, and I don't want to say fade the Clevelands. You have to probably have one or have to have some of it, but I don't know. That's something you can do. And then again, on the Cleveland side, would you consider stacking, like playing some Knicks guys? Like the one Knicks guy that I liked earlier was Mitch Robinson.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the normal thing to do, is to try to run it back with one or two. So I'm trying to actually just go for like a hammer stack of both San Antonio and Phoenix or something. You know what I mean? Sorry, Cleveland and Phoenix. If you just play them and don't worry about the run backs as much, I'm just seeing what kind of lineups you get. You can get a 4. Yeah, it's not exactly the way I want it to go. And Bones Highland, of course. You have to have that one. Like, I'm going to have somebody in those late games. It's going to be Bones Highland, Josh Okogie, Norman Powell spot. Just leaving a couple spots for that just to see how it plays out, I think is probably a good idea.
I think it's a very good idea.
Jalen Suggs was going to be a sneaky play that I mentioned tonight. He's playing really good basketball, and I think that matters. They're really trying to win. I mean, they're in their playoff mode. Great job by the Lakers to come back last night, but I think Jalen Suggs is going to start to play more minutes soon. The thing is, on the back-to-back, the other guy who I was thinking on a totally different spectrum was the Cole Anthony.
Ooh, that's interesting.
He only played 20. He played the least minutes of their guards last night. They're playing a back-to-back in LA, and he gets to play against extremely aggressive and just gamble, I'll leave you wide open, Russell Westbrook. He hits a couple threes, and all of a sudden Cole Anthony is on. You know what I mean? He gets on that. Dude, the guy's good, man. You knew it before any of us did.
Who?
Cole Anthony.
Cole Anthony, yeah. They got a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a tough they're in a tough league, I should say.
Yeah. The Clippers, were going to be a lot of what we talked about, and they it's kind of weird if Norman Powell's out. So maybe getting a stack of that game and just playing a couple of obvious Cleveland pieces with a stack of that game is enough to get there with Nurkic or something instead of Durant, if you want to go that way, or play Durant, who's going to be lower owned now.
Seeing once again, as usual, Markelle Fultz getting a lot of ownership on FanDuel. I think that's part of his contract. That he's just got to get owned on FanDuel.
I think Cole Anthony is a tremendous pivot. More on DraftKings, but I think he's a tremendous pivot.
I think Donovan Mitchell on DraftKings really looking like 70% owned. I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do one more run here.
So the others, Max Struss.
Are you gonna play FanDuel? Are you gonna play FanDuel tonight?
No, I think I missed the big
Okay.
buy, and so I just skipped it. I mean, I could have played the 1650, but I don't want to go there.
Now, for the Clipper game tonight, do you have tickets? Do you get tickets, or how'd you?
My friend Kenny, who you know, has got a friend who has courtside, like near
nice.
courtside area, so it's kind of fun.
When I lived in LA, we had my roommate had season tickets to the Clippers. We went to a whole bunch of games.
Oh, awesome!
This was where the hell were they playing? I don't even remember. I think they were at the Forum. No, they were at the Where did they play originally? When they first got there? In like when 1990, when I lived there. 92, 93. No, they were in LA.
They play the sports arena.
Right, that's what it was. Sports arena, right? That's
right. Oh man, do I hate the sports arena?
We went there with Billy Crystal was in all the games.
Yeah, he used to be. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind the Mitch Rob thing. For whatever reason, centers have kind of gone a little nuts on them this year. So here's the non-Durant way of doing it. I have the Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon, Josh Okogie. Is that going to be possible? No, it's too much to ask for. Do I have? Is it possible to just have somehow I have a Okogie and like all my? I'm just leaving that spot open with a couple hundred left because I actually do think what's his name is a really good play. Powell.
Okay. He's another guy though that he can disappoint.
It's 100% for sure, but so can Okogie.
Well, that's for dang sure.
That part we know.
And he can play like a good real life basketball game and still disappoint.
Right. Are you getting to? Are you going to get to much Eubanks? Do you think?
I don't think so. Should I?
Doesn't make as much sense anymore, does it?
No.
But it was a play I really liked initially. It was probably going to be my highest owned play. Maybe I will just leave him into one of my big ones. And also, I wanted to leave. It's just like I want to keep doing with these guys. Like you're going to have the up and downs from Wemby. You're going to have the up and down, but you're going to have opportunities for, monster games at low ownership all the time. So I think it's worth it taking those shots on 3 gamers rather than 10 gamers.
Oh, so there's a little bit of a change, by the way, in my my schedule. I'm actually leaving Thursday, not Friday. So I'm out Thursday through Monday, actually.
Oh, awesome. Okay, what are you doing?
We're going away, but we will. But I will be. I am going to try to get to be in front of the computer for the 11 o'clock on Sunday. So.
Nice.
Yeah, so we will see. I'm going to do one more projection update here. And then I think I'm going to get out of here and start building. And I will update the hockey and baseball projections a little bit in a few minutes. I mean, those games still start for an hour.
Yeah.
So let me see what this looks like here. NBA. I mean, nothing's really changed too much.
Yeah.
Brunson, is he a good play? I don't know.
It's kind of tempting to play Kawhi George and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to me a little bit. Not together necessarily. I'm just saying
remember with what's his name getting there coming soon. This might be their last chance to shoot the ball for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or to handle the ball at least. That's one weird pickup, man. I don't know about that.
The Harden thing.
Yeah,
I get it. They're about to move into a new stadium, like
I
bring the
guess.
best product, kind of being the best team you have possible. But it is weird. I don't disagree with you there. I think they'll actually be okay. Westbrook's been great. They're planning on using Harden as their 2 guard. Like,
All right, so everybody, I am updating at least. Well, it's going to be the last update for the early slate. How about that? I'll probably come back. There's a big break between this game and the first few games and the Powell game, or excuse me, the first game and the last 2.
yeah.
So once that news comes out, I mean, I'll come back and post those updates. But I just updated the NBA. So I guess I'm gonna go and deal with my stuff.
Yeah, I'll be in
Who
premium.
do you like? Who do you like in the baseball game today?
Oh, this one I still like Texas, and I think that this time they really do put the number up. So
Okay.
I did have Corey Seager. I played one big buy-in. I thought it for a minute that's what we'd be talking about today because I played my one 333 and it was only 10K to first, but looked like I had a chance to win it because I had Seager as my captain and it didn't quite get there, but it finished like 5th or 6th or something.
Oh, really? You got 5 top 10 though?
Yeah, and I'm going right back to
awesome.
Seager again tonight.
Oh, let's go. Why not? Right back to it.
Right back to it. The guy's the best postseason hitter like ever.
And probably best regular season player.
Yeah, seriously. All right, buddy. Have a good night. Good luck, everybody.
All right, later.
Thanks for all the stuff. All right, good night.